Okay, it's time to look at our assessment choreography for Broadsword. This choreography is going to be based around a fight from Henry VI between the characters Talbot and Joan. Just like the last fight was based around a fight between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Now, this fight is going to have 3 phrases, and I would like you to pick one of the 2 characters, either Joan or Talbot. In each one of these videos, I'm going to be showing you their half of that phrase. So you're going to pick one character, and you're going to follow that character through all 3 phrases. So if you choose Talbot right now, you're going to do Talbot for phrase 1, 2, and 3, and the same thing. If you choose Joan, you're going to be Joan for phrases 1, 2, and 3. Now, I've put a link to a test fight. I had 2 friends of mine that wanted to get certified as actor combatants in Broadsword, named Kylie Azure Green and Marin Abercrombie. And so I taught them through the curriculum, and then I used this choreography as their test fight. And I highly recommend that you take a look at it. I've put that link in Canvas for you to look at their test fight. It's an excellent example of what a level 1 test fight looks like, done at performance level. They both passed with recommend, so they got the highest marks possible on that. They did an excellent job, and it's a really great example of a test fight. We're going to be using that same choreography, breaking it down phrase by phrase. Unfortunately, you're not going to be doing it with a partner. You're just going to be doing one half of it. So let's take a look at phrase 1. So Talbot begins this fight upstage and to the right. Talbot is left foot forward with a very wide stance pointing downstage left on the diagonal. And Talbot is the aggressor here, and Talbot starts by holding Joan on point. What that means is Talbot is weight shifted forward and is spotting the target dead center of Joan's chest and has fully extended the blade pointed directly at the chest. Not at the belly button, not at the face, center chest. The right palm is pronated, so the flat of the blade is pointed up and down, and the edges are pointed out to the side. We've got the true edge pointing to our right. And make sure that you relax your shoulders. Don't hold your shoulders up or really put a lot of tension in the upper body. Relax that upper body as you're holding Joan on point. Okay, this is how the fight starts. Now, Joan begins the fight by doing what is called a high beat parry 1. And I'll show you what that is in just a moment. But it suffices to say that Joan knocks our blade out of the way to open up a line of attack to our front hip. So we start by getting our blade knocked out of the way, we pass back, and then parry 7. Joan then does an around the body cut to our right shoulder, so we weight shift forward as Joan preps that attack. We pass back, parry 3. Then we croisé with expulsion, removing Joan's blade and opening up a line to Joan's left arm. So now we weight shift back, prepping a fishing line cut to Joan's left arm. Joan passes back, and we cut, and Joan does a counter parry 4. We then continue our attack by pulling our blade through. Make sure that you don't point the sword at their face. Pull it through and do an inside moulinet on our left side. We pass forward and we cut down as Joan evades off to the side. Then Joan is going to do a belly cut right to left. So after we finish cutting, we make eye contact. Joan preps her attack. We evade by jumping back, putting the sword over our head, and we're bringing the sword off to the side, not through Joan's face. Bringing it off to the side, over our head, removing our stomach, and Joan cuts through, missing us as we evade. So that is phrase 1 from Talbot's perspective. Let me show it to you without stopping now. Here we go. I have Joan on point. Joan knocks my blade away, pass back, parry 7. Weight shift, parry 3. Croisé, weight shift, prepping the attack, parry 4. Pull through, inside moulinet, head cut. Eye contact, preparation, evasion, attack, recovery. Now, one more time, a little bit faster. And that is phrase 1 from Talbot's perspective. Now let's take a look at Joan. Joan starts off downstage left, facing roughly away from the audience on the diagonal towards Talbot. Joan is also left foot forward in puzzle piece, but does not necessarily start in a real fighting stance. Joan is going to begin the fight explosively by doing that high one beat parry. So here's what that looks like. Parry 1 is known as the what time is it parry, and it looks like this, as if you're checking your watch to see what time it is. And we can do this parry with one hand. And we can do this parry high up here. So we're literally bringing our watch right in front of our face, and we are knocking aside our opponent's blade with the true edge of our blade. Boom, just like that. And then we can easily move into an around the body cut, which can then move into an attack. So the whole thing looks like this. Beat parry, around the body, cut. So I'm starting with one hand, beat parry. I'm grabbing now with my second hand as it comes around, cut. Then I'm going to weight shift and cut to shoulder. There. Now Talbot expels me with a croisé, and then weight shifts to attack my left arm. I pass back to a full counter parry 4. Talbot then pulls through. I weight shift with Talbot. Talbot does an inside moulinet and cuts to my head. Now here's where it gets tricky. I'm going to drop the tip of my blade here. I'm going to pass back. I'm going to cross step right and bring my sword up into a hanging parry 5. Now this is where it gets tricky, as I said. This is something that Marin actually had a hard time with when she was doing the role of Joan. It took some work, but she eventually got it and did great. Now here's what is challenging about it. There's a difference between doing a hanging parry like this and doing a hanging parry like this. We want the first one. We want the sword to come straight up, pushing away from our center, pushing their blade out of the way as it comes down towards us. What we do not want to do is reach out with our sword upwards and grab and pull the sword down. We don't want to grab it and pull it towards us. Even though this is a deflecting parry, rather than a parry that stops their blade, we still want to make sure that we're crossing our heart and pushing out from our center. So make sure, when you do this, the tip of the blade stays down, we cross step, and then the fort of the blade comes up. So let's take a look at it in the choreography. I'll start from the top. Left foot forward, high, beat parry 1, attack hip, around the body to shoulder. Croisé with expulsion, weight shift, pass back, full counter parry 4. Talbot pulls through, I drop the tip of my blade. Pass back, cross step, bring it up to hanging 5. Now once we're here, we're going to do a move that we used in the quarterstaff choreography. We're going to make eye contact, and we are going to prep a stomach cut right here. They're going to evade. We're going to take our back foot. We're going to bring it out from behind us, stepping forward and cutting through. So once again, let's take a look at that. So I've cross-stepped here, hanging parry. I bring the sword now here to my waist to prep, and then I take this rear foot here. I keep my weight on my front foot. I bring my rear foot around and step forward onto my rear foot as I cut through their stomach. And that is the end of phrase 1. So let's look at that a couple times. So this is phrase 1 from Joan's perspective. I start left foot forward. High, beat parry 1, grab it, pass forward, cut to hip. Around the body with a weight shift, passing step, cut to shoulder. Croisé with expulsion, weight shift to prep, I pass back, full counter parry 4. Talbot pulls through with a weight shift, I pass back, dropping the tip of my sword. Cross step to right, bring it up to a hanging 5. Eye contact, preparation, evasion, attack, recovery. And that's the end of phrase 1. Let's look at it a little bit faster now. And beat, hip, shoulder, croisé, shoulder, and cross step, hang 5, preparation, they evade, attack. And that is the end of phrase 1 from both Talbot and Joan's perspective. So please, when you record this, identify whether you will be Talbot or Joan, and then do your best. Rehearse this until you've got it down perfect. Then record yourself and show it. All right, can't wait to see them.